Good evening, everybody. I know this is really not my place to talk, right? That's what they're going to say. None of my business. They might even call me a Amalek or a synagogue of Satan or this or that. But just hear me out, all right? I agree 100% Black Lives Matter. And I agree 100% that there is a systematic racism against black people that exists in America that is attacking black lives. However, I do not believe that it's the police that are the systematically racist. And if they are, the place where these shootings happen invariably are in blue cities or in blue states, Democrat-run cities. And that comes down to the real issue here. Where is the biggest attack on black lives? Because you can talk about a handful of police shootings, and each one of those is tragic and horrible. I don't believe that the vast majority of them are racially motivated. And the fact of the matter is, as President Trump pointed out, there are white people who get killed by cops also, and that's also a tragedy. It should be a tragedy when any human being is killed needlessly, even if they are criminals. They don't have to be killed necessarily just because they committed a crime. And however, in the heat of the moment, I don't blame the police officers in most of these cases. But to claim, I really don't see any evidence that this is racially motivated or racially based, but rather just most of the time we're talking about criminals, and it's perhaps a lack of regard for the lives of criminals, because criminals often have a lack of regard for the lives of the innocent people. But there's, again, another type of criminal that has a lack of regard for the lives of innocent people, and particularly innocent black human beings, black people, the most innocent. And there has been a systematic, legalized lynching that has gone on for nigh on 50 years in this country legally, that has been focused more upon the African American community than in other communities through the ideology of eugenics, an essentially racist ideology. And that's what's really behind the Planned Parenthood abortion movement. Because if you study the history of Planned Parenthood and you study the history of the Democratic Party, you will know that the Planned Parenthood is an organization based in the ideology of eugenics, and they sought to eradicate the black race. And the Democratic Party, from its beginning, from the time when it broke away from the Democratic Republican Party of Jefferson, which is a different approach than the modern day Democratic Party, they have been the party of identity politics, aka racism. And so nowadays they express that through their obsession with identity politics and their projection of their own inherent racism upon the original anti-racists, which is the party of Lincoln, which, if you didn't know, the party that freed the slaves, the party that spearheaded the civil rights movement. And yet the racist LBJ took the credit for the things that he couldn't get his own party to participate in, and it was the Republican legislature that pushed through civil rights etc. This is the message that we have to get out. And to this day, the left are the racists. It's in the Democrat cities where black people are getting killed, whether they're criminals who are being shot and don't deserve to be killed for their crimes, or whether we're talking about innocent babies, mostly black babies, more likely for a black baby to be lynched, murdered in the womb than to be born in New York City. And that is the inherent systematic racism of the Democrat Party to this day. And they have the audacity and the chutzpah to claim that we're the racists when we oppose their policies, when their whole history has been one of racism, and the whole history of the Republican Party has been anti-racism. And they have the chutzpah to call Donald Trump, who has done more to help the African American community in America than any president since Lincoln. They call him a racist, while Joe Biden has been an open racist. They'll say that Donald Trump has a dog whistle, meaning something that only certain people can hear, like only dogs could hear a dog whistle. Well, Joe Biden is not dog whistling. He's all his life been openly and utterly racist, using racist terminology, and espousing racism openly. And if you want to talk about dog whistles, I can name some perhaps anti-Semitic dog whistles that you can find from Biden's statements. And the chutzpah to go say that a guy from Queens, the most culturally diverse municipality in the entire world, is a racist. You don't know what Queens is about. You don't know what New York City is all about. If you're going to go say that this guy is a racist, that our president, who again, like I said, he's done things to correct the systematic racism that people like Joe Biden have put into the system. And the truth is, a lot of African American people are waking up and realizing this, to the point where there's a possibility that up to 30% of the African American electorate could go to Donald Trump, and maybe even more, who knows. Which, as Dick Morris says, that should give permission to those who feel some kind of liberal white guilt to recognize that they should vote for the true liberal in this race, which is Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a liberal, but he's a classical liberal. He's a true liberal, as opposed to the leftism of the Democratic Party. I'm not saying that Joe Biden is an ideological leftist, but he is a puppet of those leftists, and it'll be back to business as usual in Washington, D.C. if, God forbid, someone like Joe Biden gets anywhere near the White House, and especially all the other folks that are around him. And the thing is Kamala Harris herself called out Joe Biden for his racism, and yet when confronted about, well, how can you run with this guy that you called a racist? Well, oh, that was during the primary. That was during the primary. It's different now. It's okay now. That was just politics. I mean, in general, what we're taught is that that's the worst thing you could call someone, is a racist, right? And here she is. She called him a racist, which is true. He is a racist. I don't know if that's the worst thing in the world you could call someone. It's a pretty bad thing. And here this guy, and here she is running with this person that she called a racist. That she said, I'm that little girl. What's going on here? Because they don't care about this stuff. They don't care about race. They don't care about helping the black community at large. All they care about is attaining power themselves. And this is what we have to recognize here in America, that what the left is trying to do with their obsession with race and racism and identity politics is all they want to do is divide and conquer and seize power and take power away from we the people. Take away religious liberty. Take away all of our liberties, the freedom of speech, private property rights. It goes on and on. The right to life. They want to rob us of this. Now I understand that in the Jewish religion there's a nuanced view on abortion, but that doesn't mean that it's a free-for-all and you can just do whatever you want and without any consequences. That's not what it means when the Jewish law discusses about, serious issues about when the mother's life's in danger. That's a different story. But that doesn't really happen these days that much. It's extremely rare, and and they always told us safer and legal. And that's fine. I can hear that. I can work with that, safe, rare, and legal. But that's not what the left wants. The left has turned abortion into a sacrament. And there are leftist women who feel guilty that they never had an abortion because they want to find solidarity with this, or I think it's some kind of a satanic ritual. With selling the body parts and so forth. Who knows what's going on in this world, So we got to figure this out. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment. And let's talk. Because it can't be. Now, yes, it's indeed true that there are more African American women who die in childbirth than other women, and that could be linked to racism or it could be linked to genetics. I don't know. But that doesn't account for the incredibly high number of the lynching in the womb. That's what it's coming to. That's what it's not just simply it is what it is. It's not the safe, rare, and legal that we were taught. It's a direct focus on killing black people specifically. I mean, there was even a recording a number of years ago. They called Planned Parenthood and they asked, could we give money specifically to help fund black abortions? And they're like, absolutely, of course, because that's what they're about. That's their main goal. When they abort a white baby, that's collateral damage because they that's really to cover up. Their real goal is to wipe out the black race. That's who the Democrats are. That's what they've always been. And that's why they destroyed the families. Used to be, much different world until Democrats came and destroyed black families. And, we have to restore back to the way things are supposed to be. And care about individuals, care about the most important minority, which is the minority of one, and stop seeing people for the color of their skin, but rather, as Martin Luther King said, for the content of their character. And so, yes, Black Lives Matter, but what they say it means, that it's some kind of with police brutality and this and that. That's minuscule compared to the abortion industry lynching black babies in the womb. Millions of babies in the womb. It's apples and oranges. You cannot compare, 20 people killed in a year, maybe, if that many, to millions and millions and millions. So, thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment. We'll see you later.